Welcome to the deep dive. Ready to go beyond the headlines?
Yeah, let's do it.
Today we're looking at Iranian exports to Kuwait.
Sounds interesting.
We've got all sorts of sources, from trade data to cultural stuff.
Bro, wow.
Our mission, uncovering what makes this trade relationship tick.
It's a relationship that goes way deeper than just numbers.
I agree.
We're talking about centuries of shared history.
Right.
And they're so close in the Gulf region, so many cultural connections.
So it's not just about economics. There's that cultural layer, too.
For sure.
But let's get practical for a second.
Okay.
Kuwait, being a desert nation,
Right.
relies a lot on imports to meet its needs.
Makes sense.
So that automatically makes it a prime market for Iranian goods, right?
Absolutely. And this is where it gets interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We often hear about Iran's oil and gas exports.
Yeah.
But this trade relationship is way more diverse than that.
Okay, so spill the tea. What kind of products are we talking about?
Well, construction materials are a huge part of it. Think cement, gypsum, lime. Basically, Iran is supplying the building blocks for Kuwait's development.
Wow.
In fact, just cement exports to Kuwait reached over $116 million in 2022.
$116 million.
Yeah.
Just for cement.
Yep.
That's wild. Makes sense, though, with all of Kuwait's construction projects.
Right. They're trying to become a global trade hub, need a ton of infrastructure.
Like that Silk City project, that's a big one.
Exactly. And Iran's construction materials industry is stepping up to meet that demand.
It's a win-win. Kuwait gets the materials, and Iran gets a big export market.
For sure.
So we've got the foundations of their cities covered.
Yep.
But what about the people? What are they eating?
This one might surprise you.
Okay, yummy.
Live animals are another big export from Iran to Kuwait.
Live animals.
Seriously.
Yeah, over $26 million worth in 2022.
I never would have guessed that.
It makes sense when you think about it.
How so?
Kuwait's desert environment limits how much they can grow themselves.
Right.
They need a reliable source of meat and dairy.
Makes sense. And Iran, with its more diverse agriculture, can fill that need.
It's like a lifeline of essential goods going across the Gulf.
I like that, a lifeline.
This is fascinating. It really changes how I think about what Iran exports.
It's more than just oil and gas.
Yeah, way more.
There's so much more to uncover, too.
Don't leave us hanging.
Yeah.
What other surprising exports are we going to find? All right, lay it on me. What other surprising Iranian exports to Kuwait are there?
So get this. In 2022,
Yeah.
Iran also exported over $20 million worth of seafood to Kuwait.
Seafood, huh? Well, I mean, that makes sense geographically.
Right.
Kuwait's on the coast,
Yeah.
and Iran has access to, what, the Caspian Sea?
Caspian Sea
and
or
the Persian Gulf.
Persian Gulf, both of them.
Yeah.
So this highlights something else about this relationship.
What's that?
It's not just Iran making up for what Kuwait lacks.
Okay.
It's about Iran using its own advantages, its resources.
Playing to their strengths. I like it.
Exactly.
Okay, so what else is on the export list?
Speaking of strengths,
Yeah.
Iran is known for its agriculture, too.
Right, fertile land.
In 2022, they exported over $7 million worth of fruits, nuts, and melons to Kuwait.
Sounds delicious.
Oh,
I can picture those melons arriving in Kuwait, perfect for the desert heat.
totally. It's like Iran bringing its natural abundance to Kuwait.
I love that.
But it's not all about essentials, you know?
Oh, what else is there?
Remember those Persian carpets we talked about?
Of course. Those incredible hand-woven carpets.
Oh,
Yeah.
in 2022, those exports hit over $5 million.
Wow. So people in modern Kuwait still appreciate that traditional art.
For sure, it shows that cultural connection.
Right.
Those carpets, they're more than just goods. They're heritage and beauty.
It's like a reminder that trade can be about so much more than economics.
Absolutely.
Sharing beauty and tradition.
And speaking of culture,
Yeah.
another interesting category is glass and glassware.
Okay.
Iran exported over $3 million worth of those to Kuwait in 2022.
Glassware. Now that one really surprises me.
It might not be the first thing you think of,
No, not at all.
but it shows how their manufacturing is growing. They're making stuff that's competitive globally, and Kuwait's buying it.
So we've got construction materials, food, livestock, carpets, seafood, now glassware.
And that's not even all of it.
What else is there?
We haven't even touched on things like edible vegetables, vegetable plating materials, cereals, flour, starch, milk preparations.
Wow. This is really eye-opening.
It's a dynamic trade relationship, way more than just oil and gas.
Absolutely. It's really multifaceted.
And it brings up some big questions about what's next for this partnership.
Yeah, like how will all the global stuff, the geopolitics, affect it all?
Exactly. And what new opportunities are there as Iran and Kuwait keep developing?
These are some great questions.
And we'll be